masculine energy, I think, is good. And
Yeah.
obviously, society has plenty of that, but I think corporate culture was really like trying to get away from it. And I do think that there's just something. It's like, I don't know, these all these forms of energy are good, and I think having a culture that like celebrates the aggression a bit more has its own merits that are really positive.
Hey, gang, it's me, Dr. Steve, and maybe it's just the light of the dawn of the coming golden age, but clearly the world is changing right before our eyes. And as you just saw, more and more people are seeing the light. Mark Zuckerberg, the strange teenage billionaire, is actually coming across as, shall I say, normal? And he's normal because he's becoming a traditionalist. He's re-embracing this thing we call common sense that we've lived by for thousands of years. Think about it. This is a young guy who literally spent his formative years building one of the biggest companies in the world and spent that time surrounded by some pretty imposing and intimidating elites, both billionaire and bureaucrat. And as he recently admitted in his interview with Joe Rogan, he basically claimed he was threatened by those said elites to do their bidding or else. The Biden administration was literally threatening Facebook, we now know, during COVID with lawsuits if they didn't take down certain types of posts that didn't fit with the elite narratives being spun at the time. But now Zuckerberg appears to want to take his place among a new generation of re-traditionalized men, whether it's his training in the MMA or his bringing on the president of the UFC, Dana White, onto Meta's board, or hanging out with Rogan. Clearly, Zuckerberg is turning his back on the woke establishment. Hey, man, welcome to the party. Great to have you. Again, think about it. For years now, the woke establishment has worked hard to tear down men and has mass-produced a culture that's emasculating in nature. And they've overseen a nutrients deficiency in our food that's physiologically pulling us down, and not for the better. The woke establishment has made it their mission to dismantle traditional values, demonizing masculinity and promoting a culture of enfeeblement. Our food supply, what's riddled with nutrient deficiencies that sap our energy and vitality. The levels of despair and confusion among men today, it's startling. Many struggle with identity and confidence and their role in society, thanks to an agenda that's determined to keep them down. But as you can plainly see, we're back. That's right. Men are making a comeback, but it's not going to happen overnight. It's a long road ahead. And we all don't quite have the billion-dollar resources that Zuckerberg does. So what can we do? What can the average patriot do to take his masculinity back? Well, joining me today is one of those absolute warriors on the front lines of this battle, founder and CEO of Black Force Supplements, Antonio Colmenares. Antonio is a good friend of this channel, and he's here to show us how a supplement called NMN is necessary for proper aging, and to tell us about his experience fighting the bad guys in Big Pharma and the woke establishment. And if you don't know, recently, Black Force Supplements, along with the Natural Product Association, got the amazing news that a court has ruled that the FDA was unfairly enforcing rules against NMN products. For now, the FDA can't take strict actions against NMN products while the case is on hold, but we don't know how long that's going to be. So you have got to check out Black Force Supplements and all the amazing things they're doing to save us from the dragons at the FDA. Click on the link below or scan the QR code. Use promo code Turley for a discount at checkout. You're going to love it. I take Black Force Supplements every single day. I love them, and I know you will too. Antonio, my friend, welcome back. Great to see you. Happy New Year. Merry Christmas to you.
Happy New Year. Merry Christmas, Steve. Happy to be back. And I always love coming on the show, man. Thank you for having me.
Well, it's our pleasure, and congrats on the big win with the FDA. Before we get into all of what you do, you're on the front lines here. I'm curious, just your opinion here. You're seeing Zuckerberg turning
Yeah.
a corner, becoming quite manly, very heroic, and embracing those traditional masculine values. And one of your products was actually recently featured on the Joe Rogan podcast, NMN. What do you think? Are men becoming masculine again?
Well, I want to focus on the Mark Zuckerberg aspect first. He recently came out, and we all saw and said that he's going to prioritize free speech, that he's going to get rid of fact checkers, that he's going to get rid of restrictions of content. And I quite clearly think that this is just an attempt to cozy up to Trump and
Mm.
align with what seems like a shifting culture, the one you've
Yeah.
been talking about, away from DEI and now to a more traditional way of life.
Right.
So I think this shift is happening because of warriors like you, Steve. And I'm very, very optimistic because of this. But I don't know if you remember, I don't know if it was in his first or in the second term, but Trump said that as soon as he got elected, he, in his words, said, weirdo Mark Zuckerberg came to the White House and kissed his ass. And those are his words, not mine. And then he went on to say that the Hunter Biden laptop from hell was Russian disinformation, that they actively were propagating this through Facebook, and they knew that this wasn't true. And they did obviously the same thing during COVID with vaccine information. And I think that's very dangerous because we saw the FBI, the CIA, and the FDA and big pharmaceutical companies acting like a single unit, an organized effort by big pharmaceutical companies to patent anything that they can't, organized effort from big pharmaceutical companies to suppress anything that they can't patent and profit from. So that's very dangerous. And I think that Mark Zuckerberg, he's just trying to cozy up to Trump and make good with a shifting culture with his probably hundreds of millions of dollars that he spends in his PR team. So I'm afraid that's a little bit of what's going on there. And yes, I'm super happy because NMN's finally making headway into popular culture. I've been screaming for
You
people
have
to
for
wake up
years. Yep.
and realize how revolutionary this compound is. So I think it's been featured in the Joe Rogan like 3 times. So I'm
Yes.
super happy about that. We all know how powerful Joe is in shifting the culture's perspective. So very happy about that, Steve.
Yes, and your opinion on Zuckerberg is obviously widely held. Most of our listeners, I think, would come solidly on your side of the conclusion there. You brought up something I think is huge. Where over the last few years, at least under the Biden administration, we saw men being replaced by a managerial class. Men were being replaced by managers. In your opinion, and again, you're on the front lines of this, why are the FDA and the thankfully leaving Biden administration, why have they been colluding to suppress the truth about things that will advance human health in general, but especially the health of men?
I personally think that there's nothing more profitable than a sick person, whether it
Wow.
be man or female. And they simply want you sick and dependent on their patented drugs for the rest of your life. That's their
Wow.
number one goal. Their goal is not for you to be healthy. Their goal is for you to be sick and dependent. And I previously thought I've came on the show and talked about the revolving door between the FDA and big pharmaceutical companies.
You did.
There's studies that oversaw drug reviewers, people that approved drug treatments over a 10-year period. They would
Yep.
approve a drug, and then 56% of them would go on to work or become consultants for big pharmaceutical companies. So I previously thought that was the main issue. But after doing a little bit of digging, I realized that big pharma's tentacles are everywhere. I want to
Right.
go over some statistics that I was able to pull up while doing this digging. The
Yeah.
pharmaceutical industry spent 4.5 billion on national TV ads, making it 75% of the TV ad spend. They spent 20 billion on digital ads, most of that going to Meta. And they spend 400 million in lobbying, making them the industry that spends the most on lobbying annually. So quite clearly, we can see why Meta would cozy up to Big Pharma, why during COVID we all saw the same vaccine narrative. They make 75% of the revenue for TV ads. So are you gonna anger the
Right.
person that you basically depend on?
Right.
And I'm afraid that this is what we're seeing with RFK. They want to overturn his nomination because they have $400 million spent on lobbying that are actively trying to stop him from holding that post in the HHS. We
Yeah.
all know what he said about the FDA. He's basically declared war on them. So those 400 million are being put to work.
Yeah, it's comparable to the way Tulsi has been and Pete Hegseth have been declaring war on the military-industrial complex. Same thing. I love that revolving door between the agencies that are supposed to be overseeing industries and the boards of those industries that are now filled up with former members of those agencies. 25, I've just wrote it down, 4.5 bill, 20 bill, 400 mil. That's 25 bill, $25 billion on marketing or lobbying. Do you have any sense of what of RFK's prospects and how do you see the future of the FDA and America's health if they were to thwart RFK's nomination?
I think that would be tragic. I think we're going to remain with the same status quo. And I think that status quo is Big Pharma dictating what you put in your body, when you put it in your body, and how much they charge you for what you put in your body. And additionally, you mentioned that we won a hearing with NMN. That's great. But on July 31st, I think it is, the FDA intends to answer the citizen petition. That's going to tell us whether NMN gets monopolized and becomes the first prescription anti-aging drug or not. And I'm afraid if RFK is not at the helm, we're going to see NMN get monopolized, and that will be the first of many. It'll be NMN now, but tomorrow, who knows what it'll be.
Exactly. Yeah, a domino effect. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which would be tragic, just given how accessible it is now, especially through Black Forest supplements. I'll tell you what can men do. We're big into taking action here. What can our listeners do, particularly our men, do to kind of help build back their God-given masculinity? There's all kinds of like cultural things they can do, but what about in terms of health? We were talking about this earlier before our interview here, off platform, as it were. I'm a huge fan of biohacking. I love supplements. I was telling you, I'm in my 50s now, so my body's aging, but I don't want to start taking medication to replace my aging functions. I want them revitalized and kicked in, and that's why I love taking NMN every day. Can you tell us about a bit about the supplement? Because it really is amazing stuff, and I want all of our listeners to take advantage of this. This is absolutely amazing.
Well, Steve, thank you, first of all, for taking our products. I know you're a big proponent of them, and that's why I love coming on the show and speaking about what's going on. NMN, if it weren't the best NAD booster in the market, they wouldn't want to monopolize it. That's why they want to turn it into the first prescription anti-aging drug. That's why they want to put it behind the prescription paywall and give it to everyone, essentially, but charge them thousands of dollars per month. It's vital for the functioning of the 37 trillion cells in your body. If you don't have any NAD plus in your blood, you die within minutes. So as we all know, once we age, NAD plus levels in our blood decline, and taking NMN is an NAD plus precursor. So you take it, that keeps your NAD levels high, allowing you to age more gracefully, have more energy, and quite simply, it's the best thing we found in order to combat aging. And it's very messed up that they want to take this away from people. It's already readily available. It's not expensive. And just imagine you taking it yourself, or having a brother, a daughter, or a mom that lives by an NMN, takes it every day. It helps her with her health. It helps her with her energy. And then come July 31st,
Yeah.
the FDA says, no, now it's a drug. And now you have to go to your doctor, get a prescription, and they can charge you however much they want. And who knows if it's going to be the same NMN, or it's going to be an NMN that keeps you more dependent, that works a little bit differently. There's no competition anymore. They could sell you whatever you want, and nobody can sell NMN. So how messed up would that be to have hundreds of thousands of people that take it, and all of a sudden, nope, you can't take it anymore.
Yep.
Give us thousands of dollars to take what you were already taking before.
And I'd be one of them.
Yeah,
I'd be one of them. We'd be very disappointed. Yeah, very right. Both of us, right? We'd both be very upset. That's what I mean. That's what I love sharing with you guys. Antonio and I both have skin in this game. This is we live and literally breathe and ingest this stuff. So you mentioned NMN. There's some other supplements that Black Forest had that I'm a big fan of. I never can remember the name. I keep telling you, I take it every day, but I just remember it's always Turks. I always think Turk in my head. But and guys, when you talk to Antonio, just make sure you gotta bring a pad and a pen and write down these multi-syllabic words that come out of his mouth constantly. Tell us more about some other product lines that you have that are really good for that biohacking and just really awakening the body.
Yeah, I think bringing back masculinity can be broken down into three aspects, but I want to focus on two right now. Okay. Number one is obviously aging more gracefully, keeping that energy that you have when you're younger. And number two is keeping your testosterone levels high. The natural way that we've found in order to do this, it raises testosterone levels, but I think it's like 400 points, as Andrew Huberman has mentioned on the Joe Rogan podcast, is Tonkat Ali. So Tonkat Ali is the best natural test booster that there is out there. And we paired that with testosterone, which testosterone is something that the Russians would use back in the 70s to get a one-up in the competition, because it's not banned by WADA. And the testosterone molecule is very similar to the testosterone molecule. So it tricks your body into thinking it has more testosterone. So Tonkat Ali boosts testosterone, and the testosterone tricks your body into thinking it has more. And that's why we've paired the two of them. So in order to keep that energy that one has when you're younger, pairing NMN and testosterone and Tonkat Ali, I think is the best natural thing that we can do.
I love it. Absolutely. Age more gracefully and keep up that high boosted testosterone. Absolutely. And I literally can't recommend this stuff enough. I mean, I live off of it. I love it. I love Black Forest supplements. Take them every day. I was actually complaining to Antonio earlier. Hey, I'm out of one of them. I need a refill quick, man. You got me addicted. I do. I love this stuff, Dag. You got to check out Black Forest supplements if you haven't already done so, and all the amazing things they're doing to save us from the dragons over at the FDA. Just click on the link description below, or you can scan the QR code on the screen. Use promo code Turley for a really nice discount at checkout. You're going to love them. I'm promising you, this is going to be a relationship you're going to have for the next several years of your life. And Antonio is going to help make those years all the more vibrant. Antonio,
Steve,
yeah, please.
Sorry to interrupt you. I wanted to get the promo in before I left.
I love
right
promos.
Now we're running a New Year's promo, which is buy two, get two free. And that's great, because not only can you try yourself, but you could give it to family members, friends, and sort of share this experience of newfound health with them. That's why we love doing these promos where we give products away for free. So that's the promo we're running now, specifically because we knew we're coming on the show. So I hope that your viewers can take advantage of this and Steve, always love coming here. I appreciate you. And thank you for everything you do.
Thank you, Antonio. Thank you for everything you do. Thank you so much. Let's have you back real soon.
Thank you, Steve.